The man suspected of plotting to assassinate the former US President Donald Trump has been charged with 2 federal gun crimes. 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Routh was charged with possession of a firearm as a convicted criminal, as well as possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Well, the US authorities have confirmed that the suspect fired no shots on the golf course where the Republican presidential candidate was playing. Mr. Trump has blamed the incident on the rhetoric of his Democrat rival, Kamala Harris. President Biden has questioned whether the US Secret Service have enough resources to protect senior American politicians. John Donison reports.
56 from the U.S. From North Carolina.
This is Ryan Routh, now 58, speaking 2 years ago in Ukraine, where he'd volunteered to fight against Russia. He's now in custody in Florida after he allegedly turned his sights on Donald Trump with an attempted assassination of the former president.
They blocked it off.
Routh was detained on one of the main highways heading out of Florida. Pictures taken by a passing motorist show a large number of police surrounding a vehicle. Routh was driving the black car, seen here on the side of the road. Donald Trump was playing golf on his own course when a number of gunshots were heard. A Secret Service agent had spotted a rifle being pointed from bushes at the edge of the course.
They have an agent that jumps one hole ahead of time to where the president was at. And he was able to spot this rifle barrel sticking out of the fence and immediately engage that individual, at which time the individual took off.
The police recovered what they say is an AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks containing ceramic tiles and a GoPro camera.
We are not sure right now if the individual was able to take a shot at our agents, but for sure our agents were able to engage with the subject.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart.
It's just a matter of weeks since the last assassination attempt on Donald Trump. He was shot and injured at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. Just moments later, he was on his feet and shouting "Fight, fight" to the crowd. After this latest attempt, the former president put out a brief statement. "I am safe and well," he said. "Nothing will slow me down. I will never surrender. The job done was absolutely outstanding. I'm very proud to be an American." Vice President Kamala Harris said, "I am deeply disturbed by the possible assassination attempt of former President Trump. We all must do our part to ensure that this incident does not lead to more violence." Police have raided Ryan Routh's home in North Carolina.
My initial goal was to come and fight.
In previous news interviews and on social media, he urged people to travel to Ukraine to fight against Russia. It's one potential line of inquiry that may point to a motive. Donald Trump left his golf course under heavy security a few hours after the thwarted attack. There will be questions about how a man with a rifle was able to get so close to the former president. But Donald Trump has praised the Secret Service for their response and says he will continue to campaign this week. John Donison, BBC News.
Well, speaking at the White House, President Biden said Congress should consider whether the Secret Service needed more resources to protect senior politicians.
I think thank God the president's okay. I think we got a full report so far. We're down there tonight. But one thing I want to make clear, the service needs more help. And I think the Congress should respond to their needs if they in fact need more services. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Are you concerned more money or they need more personnel? They need more money? What kind of help do you say?
I think we need some more personnel. I think they may be deciding whether they need more personnel or not.
Are you concerned more
President Biden, I think you can just about make out the audio there. Let's speak to our North America correspondent, Tom Bateman, who's in Florida for us. Tom, just tell us what happened earlier today with the court case.
Well, just over an hour or so ago, we had a little more than a 10-minute court hearing, very short, where Ryan Routh was led in a blue jail jumpsuit. He was handcuffed and he was brought to sit next to his defence attorney. There were a few minutes where we were able to observe him before the judge came into the court. He sat smiling repeatedly, laughing at times during the conversation with her. We couldn't hear that, but it would seem to be she was just trying to explain to him how the proceedings would work. When the judge came in, he was sworn in. Mr. Routh was sworn in and spoke to confirm his name, and also, as his rights were read to him, he repeatedly saying, "Yes, Your Honour." And then there was a series of exchanges where the judge asked him about his financial situation to see if he qualified for public defence. Now, notably in that, he said that, in his words, he had zero funds when he was asked about whether or not he could afford an attorney, apart from, he said, 2 trucks that he owned in Hawaii worth $1,000 each, and also said he had a dependent son, a 25-year-old son, but occasionally needed help from him. And then the charges were read to Ryan Routh. Now, he is charged with 2 federal offences, the first of which was possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, namely a convicted felon. So we had confirmation there that he has previous criminal convictions. And secondly, possession of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. Now, there was no plea entered. This was purely about an initial hearing, and the judge then set a date for a pre-trial detention hearing that will take place on Monday of next week. And then Ryan Routh was led away once again back into detention. So a very short hearing, but at the same time we're getting a few more details coming out as the court documents are being unsealed. And also notably, the other thing we've had confirmed in the last hour or so is from the county sheriff, who has said that no shots were fired by the gunman in the woods. Because remember, the account we had was that the Secret Service agents who were doing an advanced sweep ahead of Mr. Trump on the golf course had fired towards the barrel of a gun they said was poking out of the bushes. There was always a question about whether or not there'd been an exchange of fire, or whether or not a shot had been fired towards the agents or towards Donald Trump. The sheriff saying that their investigation shows that no shots were fired by the gunman.
Tom Bateman, thanks very much indeed. And just to let you know, there is much more analysis on what happened in Florida. There's more on the BBC Sounds, Americast podcast, and also, of course, on the website. And just to bring you a couple more lines that we're getting from a briefing, it is being reported by Reuters that the suspect was previously convicted of being in possession of a weapon of mass death and destruction. Also, that the suspect was driving a Ford truck reported stolen when he was stopped, and phone data shows that he was near the Trump golf course from well in advance, from 1:59 a.m. at that location. But more lines coming out all the time. Also, just to let you know that Donald Trump has spoken to Fox News Digital earlier today, and he has blamed this attack on the rhetoric of his rivals, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, saying the gunman acted on highly inflammatory language of the Democrats, saying that they had cast him as a threat to democracy.